If a man has enough time to go into the bathroom, he has enough time to cheat. And it just stuck with me. And I thought, does he have enough time to cheat on me?
I think by now we all know the answer to that question. So after their big breakup bomb and Austin's little Snapchat meltdown that gave secondhand embarrassment to literally everyone, the McBrooms kind of vanished. Catherine moved on. Things were finally quiet for once. Like, shockingly drama-free. And honestly, thank God. But just when we thought peace had returned to the internet, Catherine decided to shake the table again. Yup. She's dropping a book, and let's just say, she's not holding back.
In her post, she said,
"Today, I'm taking a leap of bravery and sharing something deeply personal with all of you. Writing this book was the most vulnerable thing I've ever done, but also one of the most rewarding. It took courage to pour my story onto these pages, but I did it because I believe in the power of honesty, connection, and resilience. I hope this book inspires you as much as writing it has transformed me. I can't wait for you to read it and experience this journey with me." So, at first, it looked like Catherine was going to make us wait until July 1st to get the tea from her book, but plot twist. The internet did what it does best. Yup, a few pages ended up leaking. You know that little preview they give you before you buy a book or audiobook? Yeah, well, someone screenshotted those faster than Austin could delete his DMs. And guess what? The preview wasn't just fluff. It was straight up about Austin cheating on her. Like, she really went there. Together, Asa and I were a dynamic duo, the secret sauce. That made our YouTube channel so popular, the perfect blend that made it all happen. And yet, strangely, the more I watched my husband work, the more I dismissed my own contributions. As a woman with traditional family values, I put Austin on a pedestal. I made sure he knew he was seen and that his efforts were appreciated, but I didn't know if he saw me. I had been feeling invisible for a while, a contradiction that wasn't lost on me given that millions of people watched my every move online. At the first huge sold-out event we'd organized for Thirst Project, I'd been pregnant. Staying out of the spotlight made sense. But at the second fundraiser for the Painted Turtle, I wasn't pregnant. I felt good, strong, ready. I'd poured myself into this event, too. I wanted to be a part of it. We were dressed in red, looking our best. The roar of the fans inside the massive arena echoed through the walls, a pulse you could feel down to your feet. They were there to see the basketball players, sure, but more than that, they were there for us, for the Ace family. We meant something to them. A symbol of love, of family, of everything good and uplifting. I was excited to walk out with Austin, to greet our extended Ace family together. I felt the love radiating from the crowd, and I wanted to return it, to stand beside my husband and share the moment. And then came the locker room. A space of waiting, of anticipation, a moment that should have been small but wasn't. I turned to Austin. "Do you want me to walk out with you?" A simple question, but beneath it something deeper, a need to be chosen, to be wanted there beside him as his wife, to be part of it in a way that wasn't just background support, wasn't just behind the scenes, to be the Ace family in more than just appearance. He shrugged and looked away. "Only if you want to." Flat casual, not yes, not "I want you there," just a half-hearted comment as if it didn't matter either way. But it did matter. It mattered to me. I thought, okay, if that's what he wants, I'm going to let him have his moment. I stayed back. I let him step out into the arena alone. The roar of 20,000 people filled
the air.
An explosion of sound so loud it vibrated in my ribs. I watched from the shadows how the light caught his face, his proud smile, and the effortless way he held the fans' attention as he waved up at them. I wanted to be there standing beside him. The moment was his, but it should have been ours.
We were the Ace family.
We'd built this together, a symbol of love to millions. But it wasn't just that. I wanted the dream for myself, too. I wanted to be my husband's one and only, the person he saw first and last, not secondary or somewhere even further down the list to the fame. After he walked out alone, I told myself that it was the right thing and that I was being generous, that I was letting him shine, that he deserved this solo moment. But beneath all that, Another feeling clawed at my chest. A dull ache, a sadness I
Couldn't name.
I wasn't out there with him because he hadn't wanted me out there with him. And when the event was over, I walked out into the arena, finally joined my husband as people swarmed around us. Basketball players, photographers, videographers, security influencers, and a random individual from the crowd. After he finished, he passed the mic to me dismissively. "Babe, you want to say something?" He was already turning away. As I spoke to the packed arena, he walked off, hovering only in the periphery until I was finished. After I thanked our Ace family, supporters, telling them how much they meant to us, Austin returned to my side to say a few last words to the crowd. Then our channel's theme song by Glenn Travis came on, the powerful song that helped us grow to unimaginable heights. On YouTube, as Feel My Love played, I looked up at the Ace family supporters with their voices raising in unison, singing along, eyes locked on us as a kind of yearning, a hopefulness that made my chest tighten. They weren't just watching. They were projecting, seeing their own dreams reflected in us and what they believed we stood for. Familiar love, loyalty, a forever bond between two people with their children as an extension of that love.
If Austin
Had felt that if he'd understood what the audience wanted, he would have wrapped his arms around me, kissed me, given them a moment, even if only for show, a gesture to say, "We are still who you think we are." But instead, he waved to the fans as he turned away from me, more intoxicated by the roar of strangers than the quiet, authentic love. Standing beside him, I watched him as his eyes kept looking everywhere but at me. And I knew he had drifted too far from the essence of why we resonated with people in the first place. Too far from what had once been genuine between
us.
My heart felt heavy as I watched my husband, but I did what I did best. I masked it. When the song finished, he made the rounds of schmoozing with people who fed his ego until it was time to go home. I didn't say anything to him that night. I should have. I should have grabbed his hand in the locker room and asked, "Why don't you want me beside you?" But I didn't. Instead, I filed it away, buried the pain. In that moment, though, I felt a subtle shift, the
Beginning of the end.
And just a few months later, everything came crashing down for real. I found out Austin had been cheating on me. Not a suspicion, not a rumor, proof. I realized then why he hadn't wanted to walk beside me. Why? It had been so easy for him not to. He'd already broken his vows. He'd already been gone from me longer than I had
Known.
A close family member of his admitted to me that he'd invited a girl to that very Staples Center event the same night I'd convinced myself I was being selfless for letting him have his moment. I'd seen her there pretty hanger-on, standing just close enough to feel out of place, yet comfortable enough to belong. I had noticed her in the way you catch something that doesn't quite fit, a puzzle piece jammed into the wrong spot. I'd even wondered who invited her. Now I knew it all made sense. The way he hadn't wanted me next to him, the shrug, the indifference, the way he treated me that night, as if I was a thorn in his side. The distance that had been stretching between us widened like a crack in a foundation, too stubborn to crumble all at once. In an instant, it all connected. That realization wasn't an explosion. It wasn't rage or shouting or throwing things. It was slower, heavier, a knife to the gut that didn't cut fast, but pressed in deeper and deeper until I could feel it in my bones. Or rather, my heart. It wasn't just the betrayal. It was a realization that I had been living inside a lie. That our life, the one we had built with camera angles and clickbait and perfectly timed edits, was hollowing out beneath me. An illusion created for millions to see, but never for me to truly live. The relationship, the love that had once been true, had evaporated before my eyes, dissipating into air like vapor, leaving nothing behind. But the ache of knowing it had been slipping away long before I ever saw it. All the things I had ignored, brushed aside, rationalized, they hadn't been paranoia. They had been real. After that, I turned inward. Inside, I questioned everything about Austin. Everything that had come Before. Every late night editing session, every last-minute excuse, every glance at his phone that ended with a screen tilted just out of my view. I discovered that there were others. So many girls, so many betrayals. I had never felt more alone. Not just in my relationship, but in my life. I couldn't call my mom. I was too ashamed, too humiliated to say the words out loud. He cheated on me. Saying it would make it real, would turn it into something I couldn't shove down or reshape into something easier to swallow. I couldn't tell my dad or my brother. My brother had just started his own YouTube channel, and I didn't want to pull him into the mess. Didn't want him looking at Austin differently, even though I would never see my husband the same way again. I was also newly pregnant with our third child, so I carried it alone. The weight of it, the ache of it, the thirst for something I didn't have.
It all lived inside me.
It sat in my chest, heavy and unmoving, making it hard to breathe, hard to sleep, hard to think about anything else. An old Tana Mongeau video just popped back up, and yep, it's as chaotic as you'd expect. The internet's in full meltdown mode, debating whether to cancel her again, or just laugh it off. Classic Tana moment, honestly.
One time Austin McBroom was cheating on Catherine, and the girl he was cheating on her with left a lipstick in his car. And I'm sitting in the car with Jake, and we get a call from Catherine or Austin or whoever the fuck. We answer it, and it's Austin bawling his eyes out, and Catherine absolutely screaming, holding this lipstick inside of their car. And she's screaming, and she's like, "It's the lipstick, Tana's. Austin says the lipstick's Tana's, blah, blah, blah." Austin's bawling. My dumbass thinks that the right thing to do at the time is save the kids, save the kids. So I lie to Catherine. I'm like, "This is my lipstick." It wasn't my lipstick, Catherine. I'm really sorry. But we team Bryce out here on God. So. Another time, Austin hired 4 of my friends as his nannies. And when Catherine would leave, he would sleep with all of them. And then told her that they were all his nannies. And it was a fake nanny company. And I just... So when you ask me why I'm team Bryce, it's kind of like picking a lesser of 2 evils, you know?
So literally hours after the leaked pages dropped and the internet started dragging him, Austin did what any YouTuber in crisis does. He dropped a 33-minute Snapchat novella trying to defend himself. Yup, 33 minutes. And don't worry, we sat through the whole thing so you don't have to. Let's break down the parts that actually matter, because trust me, there was a lot of rambling. So, Austin kicked off his Snapchat monologue by saying he felt blindsided by Catherine's book. According to him, everything's been chill since the separation. They co-parent well, they talk every day, and they're even still friends. But somehow, he had no idea she was about to expose him like that. Boy, read the room.
Blindsided because, as you guys know, and what you guys have seen for the past 1.5 years, Catherine and I have the best co-parenting situation that any parent can ever ask for. We actually have a better relationship now than we did when we were married. I look at Catherine as a best friend, someone that I talk to every day, not just about kids, but about life. She called me last week about her boyfriend, how he had a homeless guy sleeping in his car. I was just over her house bringing the kids pizza, not just the kids, but her and her boyfriend pizza. We were all sitting in her living room eating the pizza. And then the next morning is when the snippet of her book comes out, and it talks about how I'm a terrible person and how I was a terrible husband.
Now here's the thing. Catherine never actually said he was a horrible person or a trash husband. And honestly, she had every reason to. But nope, she kept it classy. So if Austin wants to wear that bad guy label, then hey, if the shoe fits, lace it up and wear it king.
Not once did she ever come to me and talk to me about this book. Yes, I was aware she was writing this book. She did not tell the full truth, which is why I'm here today to tell you guys the full truth and to tell you guys what really happened.
Then Austin hits us with his big brain theory that Catherine strategically chose to leak the cheating part of the book because she knew it would grab everyone's attention and boost sales. Like, sir, it's a memoir, not a clickbait YouTube thumbnail. Relax.
I don't know about you guys, but I find it very odd that the first chapter of her book is about me. She wanted to use me in this snippet to reel everybody in for clickbait and to monetize from the book. Usually when someone writes an autobiography about their life, it starts with, hey, my name is, not Dolores.
And honestly, this just proves one thing. Austin has clearly never read a book in his life. Like, what autobiography starts with, hi, my name is? That's not how books work, sweetie. Catherine didn't open her memoir like a 5th grade essay.
That's definitely not how she started it. And that's why I feel like it was a setup.
He also brought up how, like, a year and a half ago, they were trying to figure out how to announce their divorce. Austin apparently wanted to do a classic sit-down video where he'd take the blame and own up to everything. But Catherine said no, she wasn't about to give him a redemption arc on camera. He goes into this whole back and forth they had trying to figure out the right way to break the news. Spoiler alert, there wasn't one.
I felt the best way of doing it was coming out with a YouTube video together, her and I side by side. And I even told her that, hey, I'll do all the talking, I'll take full accountability for my actions and all the mistakes that I've made. I said, you don't have to say anything if you don't want. Even though you've made mistakes and I've made mistakes, I'll go ahead and take all the blame. She didn't want to do.
So Austin did end up filming his little tell-all video all by himself. And based on the clip he showed us, Catherine was 100% right to shut that idea down. Like, seriously, it was giving "this will age badly" energy before it even aired.
It caused me to seek it elsewhere. It caused me to make bad decisions. I admit, I've failed as a husband. So, long story short, she didn't want me to post it. And this is what she had to say about it. Also want you guys to know that I'm going to have receipts throughout this entire video.
Now here's where things get even messier. Austin claims he came prepared with receipts. Because apparently, he always knew Catherine might expose him one day. Which, what? Keeping receipts on your ex-wife when you're the one who cheated? That's not self-awareness. That's just wild behavior.
And the reason why I have some of these receipts is because I knew that one day it was a possibility of something like this happening. And you guys have seen it time and time again, where couples break up and there's always some sort of exposing. And so I just wanted to be able to have my own truth just in case something like this happened.
But wait, it gets worse. I thought we were about to see a basic screenshot or maybe a petty text saved in the vault.
Nope.
This man went full FBI mode. Austin played audio recordings of Catherine that sound like they were recorded without her even knowing. Which, by the way, is very illegal in California. Like, sir, you're not just messy. You might actually be criminal.
Yeah. So I'm saying, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, but do I have to worry about like you like saying something like after and stuff? So I'm basically asking her like, what is okay for me to say? She showed me her statement that she had, and I was like, okay, well, I had no say in that. You're doing what you want to do. Am I allowed to do what I want to do?
No, you just say you weren't happy.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Like, say what you said in your video. I just think your video would have been, you would have had a lot of backlash. I think this way is much more organic.
So as you heard what she said that if I was going to release this video, I would get a lot of backlash, as if she cared about me getting backlash. What is happening now?
I mean, Catherine was absolutely right. Just think back to the avalanche of hate Austin got when they announced their divorce. And that was before there was even solid proof that he cheated. Like, come on. We all knew. The cheating rumors have been floating around for years. But once you slap the word confirmed on it, game over. And if it had come out then that he was stepping out on her while she was pregnant with their 3rd kid, yeah, the internet would have buried him.
I don't want to feel like you're being attacked in any way or like I'm...
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep worried about you.
I don't want to...
Because my concern was that, is she gonna keep bringing me up time and time again for however long? So I'm asking her, hey, if you're gonna continue to do this, then I'm gonna have to do it as well.
I feel like that because I don't want you to worry about that because that's not the case.
Okay, as long as you
And I
stand.
want you to know that that's not the case.
I know, but
I'm
again,
not here
but
to
again,
torch you.
Again,
Because if that was the case, if you really truly think about it, that would have happened years ago. If that was really my way, my
yeah, but you know how
talent.
people are over after breakups. It's like, no, I'm not saying you. I'm saying in general, right? Would you agree that women are like,
Sure,
they
they're
keep,
fucked up.
yeah, they
It's
keep,
fucking weird.
they keep
Yes.
fucking be playing the victim. Like,
I fucking can't
oh
stand
my
that shit.
god, that's what I'm saying.
She said that I can't stand that shit when women expose their man after they break up. That's literally what she said. And that's literally what she's doing now.
Honestly, it kind of feels like Catherine was trying to protect him. But Austin? He thinks she didn't want him telling the fans the truth because she wanted to save that bombshell for her book. And you know what? If that's true, then good for her. She earned that moment. Everyone and their dog has been talking about Austin cheating. Tana called it out. Girls posted receipts. Influencers whispered about it for years. If Catherine wanted to finally take the narrative back and reveal it on her own terms, in her own words, then yeah, let her.
It's not true at all. Think about this. Why would I invite another girl there when this whole event is about my family? Why would I want that girl to see that? Me hugging and kissing and grabbing my wife's ass. You guys didn't want to show these clips. Me holding my wife's hand.
Now, let's talk about the girl. You know, the one people say Austin brought to that charity basketball event. For the past 2 days, internet detectives have been zooming in, cross-referencing nails and bracelets, trying to figure out who she is. But Austin swears it's not true. He says he did not bring any mistress to the event. Period.
You guys want to bring up a clip where it was 5 seconds of a video of me giving my speech, and then when I gave Catherine to Mike to tell her speech, I step away for a second to catch my breath because I just got done playing in an hour-long basketball game, and I wanted to catch my breath, and I wanted to wipe the sweat off of my forehead, and then I get right back next to her. In this clip, it shows you that when I grab the mic to give my speech, my arm is completely around her the entire time.
Again, I can't say this enough. Thank you for everyone who came out and supported us tonight. Thank you for everyone who watched the live stream. Like we always say, nothing will be possible without the A7. We truly mean that.
My arm is completely around her the whole time I'm talking. But she says that she feels unseen.
Babe, you want to say something?
I give her the mic and I step away for a second, catch my breath, and wipe the sweat off my
We
face.
have the strongest family in the world. The strongest. Oh my God,
And I'm-
thanks for coming out.
And I'm still right there next to her.
According to him, the only reason he stepped away from Catherine when she grabbed the mic was because, get this, he was sweaty. From playing basketball. Like, sir, you're dodging your wife on stage, and your excuse is moisture?
When it comes to me stepping out of my marriage, I did. I 100% stepped out of my marriage, and it was completely wrong for me to do it. I take full accountability. If I can go back and change it, I would. And I'm sorry for that. But when it comes to her acting like she had no idea what was going on, that is a complete lie. Catherine knew what I was dealing with for a very long time. I would come to her and I would voice how I feel about how I felt like I was getting no affection from her. There was a year period where we had no sex, and I would vent to her telling her what I needed. Her exact words verbatim on my kids. She said, "Just don't make me look dumb. Don't embarrass me." I don't know what that means to you guys, but to me it sounds like, go do whatever you need to do because I'm not capable of giving you what you need.
Then Austin really had the audacity to shift the blame back onto Catherine, acting like her speaking up about how she felt during that moment somehow ruined the memory of the charity event for him. Like, sir, maybe her intuition kicked in because she knew something wasn't right. Woman's intuition doesn't miss.
Very unfortunate and sad because now she turned one of our biggest moments as a family brand into a...
And spoiler alert, she was right. Because Austin finally admits to cheating. Yup, he says it plain and simple. He stepped outside the marriage. But of course, he couldn't just leave it at that. He had to twist it into some weird half-blamey narrative where it sounded like he kind of had permission? Like what?
So Catherine tells you guys that back in 2018, 2019, I basically ruined her life because I stepped out of our marriage and she had no idea. When that is not true at all. She knew exactly what I was doing and when I was doing it. So much to where she stayed with me another 5-6 years after that. She continued to film every YouTube video with me after that. She even went as far as defending me, defending my name when people would ask her about me stepping.
Let's be real. Catherine telling you she wasn't getting what she needed was not her saying, "Go cheat on me." That was her saying, "Fix it," without making me look stupid in public. But apparently, basic comprehension was not on Austin's playlist that day.
And to where a few months after that event of her being so hurt, that a few months later, she even says, I'm her soulmate.
My soulmate, I know for a fact that it's Austin, and I also believe that my life partner is also Austin, which is really interesting because it has a lot to do with my life, my traumas in my past, even in my past life. It has to do with domino effects in my life, and that's why I was brought to Austin, and that's why we manifested each other, and I really feel like
Someone that is destroyed would never say that.
And let's talk about Austin's excuse for cheating, because it's actually ridiculous. Like, Catherine had just given birth to 3 kids back to back. Their entire life was under a microscope and most of the chaos? Yeah, that was thanks to Austin and his never-ending list of shady business moves. Sure, Catherine stuck around, but come on, we all saw who was usually stirring the pot.
At this point, there was rumors that came out, never pictures or videos, because one thing she said was, just don't embarrass me. So I did what I needed to do in private, even though there were still rumors that came out. And when the rumors started coming out, that's when she then really didn't give a. She said many a times in videos, there's a video here where she just doesn't care.
okay, so nobody knows the truth, the tears and the yelling. Nobody knows what I went through. We're a fucking team, bro. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm sorry.
Give
like,
a shit. She
not
said.
sorry, but I'm sorry. Like, I just don't care. What the hell happened? What happened that day? And I'm like, shit, can we share my part? Shit.
Yeah.
I went through a lot.
You did.
Behind a king, there's always bigger.
Again, she's saying how she just doesn't care, she doesn't give a shit, and she's been through a lot because she knows what she's been through. Regardless of the fact that she knew about it, still does not make what I was doing right at all. But did I have a reason for why I was doing what I was doing? 100%.
She was exhausted, clearly feeling pushed aside, and still had Austin on this golden pedestal. And now he's shocked that she wasn't showering him with affection? Like, be serious. That's your reason for stepping out? And then he has the nerve to act like Catherine was somehow okay with it? Like, guys, she knew I was cheating, why is she mad now? Sir, what dimension are you living in?
She first came to me and talked to me about how she wanted to do ayahuasca. In my head, I was 100% against it. Something that I do not believe in. I believe in God. Because I'm such a supporting husband, I wanted to support her as much as I could. And so I let her seek that journey, and that's what she did. Through her ayahuasca journey, she was telling me how one moment she feels like she's a psychic. The next moment she felt like she was a healer. The next moment she turned me into a mermaid.
Are you Little Mermaid?
Or I could be Big Mermaid.
Okay, let me see the back.
Okay.
Okay, ew. Okay, so.
I was being as supportive as I could. She even went as far as telling me that she was the reincarnated Virgin Mary and that she no longer wanted to have sex with me and she didn't want to use her body in that way. You guys put yourself in my shoes, and if your significant other told you that they were the Virgin Mary and no longer wanted to have sex with you, what would you do?
Honestly, the whole thing just screams that old saying, if you show a man you'll stay with him through anything, he'll put you through everything. And phew, Catherine lived that quote.
So bad to the point where she was doing it once a month. She became addicted. Usually people do it once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times in their entire life, but she was doing it once a month. And this is where, during this process and her going out, traveling and going on retreats, she found somebody. And I came across their messages and I didn't know what to make of it. I couldn't comprehend it, I couldn't understand it. But she told me that they were friends that met through their spiritual journey on one of these retreats. Just friends. Here are the messages that I came across that I didn't know what to think of it. And that's why I took her word and believed her, because I had no idea what the f this meant. What does that mean? What type of language is that?
He brings up her spiritual journey, and more specifically, how she started experimenting with something. He didn't say what exactly, just threw it out there all vague and dramatic. Like, okay, King, what are we even talking about? Then he says that during one of her spiritual retreats, she met her now boyfriend, and he apparently found messages between them while he and Catherine were still technically together. Now look, I don't even know what any of that means either. If y'all can decode that, drop in the comments because I'm confused too. But honestly, by that point, Catherine was probably emotionally done. Austin had cereal box cheated on her multiple times. Does that make it right?
No.
But let's be real, they were probably staying together for the brand. The Ace family wasn't just their family, it was the income. And that check hits different.
This is somebody that she was connecting with. And unfortunately, when you guys found out, I found out way before then.
Austin then claims that after the divorce, when Catherine got her own place and her new man moved in, her so-called spiritual journey went off the rails. He said that when they were still together, she'd go to a professional for that kind of thing, but now, according to him, she's importing it from Brazil and doing it at home around their kids. Like, what in the DIY chakra ceremony is going on?
You guys know, before, when she was doing ayahuasca, when I was living with her, she would do it away from me, away from the kids, and outside of the house, where she would go to a professional. I'm sure you heard of Linnell. Linnell has been a professional in this field and has been studying this field for damn near 15, 20 years. And when Catherine got her own spot and she was living with her boyfriend, she decided to take Linnell's business away from her clientele, and decided to do the ayahuasca ceremonies and her hosting them at her house, in her home where my kids lay their head. It got so bad. Sorry, I promised myself I wasn't even crying this video because I'm just angry.
And look, if that part is true, that's wild. I get why Austin wouldn't be supportive of that. But let's be honest, coming from him, the concern hits a little different. Suddenly, he's the responsible parent? Okay.
Good friends of hers came to me, and Catherine forced them to do it, just like she forced me many of times, but I turned it down because I didn't believe in it. She forced her friends to do it, and they came to me very concerned because they didn't have a good experience. And they said, Austin, I'm very concerned, not only for Catherine, but for your kids, because this is where they sometimes sleep. And she had random people that come in and out of her house that she doesn't know, that are all participating in this illegal together, that are all hallucinating and having all different types of experiences, that this is not a safe environment. Somehow they found someone in Brazil to help them illegally import this ayahuasca shit, and they've been hosting these ayahuasca for the past year at Catherine's house where my kids lay their head. I knew I really only had two options. Either I get full custody of the kids, or I spend more time with them to protect them. And I think you guys know what.
He even claimed that some of Catherine's close friends went behind her back to tell him they were deeply concerned about what she's doing inside the house. Like, sir, are we sure those aren't your burner accounts?
He is also educating my kids on what ayahuasca is, and that she is telling me that soon they will be able to experience ayahuasca if they want.
And then he really dropped the mic by saying Catherine has already been telling the kids about what is, and apparently she even said the kids would be able to experience it themselves soon. I'm sorry, what? That's definitely one of those pause the video and rewind moments.
Here is a photo of all of them in Catherine's house experiencing the ayahuasca journey that they had together. And this boy right here is only 12 years old doing ayahuasca. Mind you, no one here is a professional. I don't know if you guys know how dangerous that is, but all it takes is for one bad experience and it changes all of our lives. Not just Catherine, not just mine, but my kids. And that's I'll never forget, ever. And so I took it in my own hands to have my kids try to spend more time with them.
And this is where Austin drops the real bomb. He pulled up a photo from one of Catherine's home retreats and claimed that one of the boys in the picture was only 12 years old and was taking part in whatever was going on there.
Yeah.
That's the kind of allegation that makes you sit up straight and refresh the comments.
But I really do hope that this video puts a stop to that shit. I hope that she can figure out how to do it away from the house and away from the kids in a safe environment. And when it comes to the things that she said about me in that book, I'm gonna repeat this one last time. She did not tell the full truth about me stepping out of our marriage. I take full accountability. I have grown. I am not that person anymore. Our dynamic will no longer be the same. It's gonna be very difficult for me to be there for her like I was for the past year and a half. This is gonna be the last time I talk about everything.
But Catherine's boyfriend wasn't having it. He took to Instagram and unleashed a full-on essay defending Catherine. He claimed Austin was misinformed about the boy in the picture, who, according to him, wasn't 12. And then he name-dropped someone named Oscar, which still unclear who or what that is, but he seemed pretty worked up about it. One more thing. The boy in the photo he showed is 17 years old and was accompanied by his parents, who are Kat's closest friends. There's no way a guy that size is only 12. Just take a proper look at the photo. In her latest interview on the YouTube show Call Her Daddy, Catherine finally opens up about how she found out Austin was cheating, and let me tell you, it was giving emotional damage.
We go to this studio to get my daughter's first haircut. She was a year old, she's getting her first haircut. He's filming and I'm kind of like, I'm taking photos for myself for my phone, you know? And then like a movie, my phone dies. It just goes black. And I look at him without a thought and I go, give me your phone, let me take a photo. As soon as my hand grabs that phone, mind you, I had never looked in his phone. I grabbed the phone and it felt kind of weird because I'm like holding his phone, right? Alex, as soon as I grabbed the phone, no. Like out of a movie, this long text comes through. If you really love your wife, you wouldn't be da-da-da-da-da. And I like my brain scanned it, but I wasn't able to read it fully. But in that moment, my heart drops. He grabs the phone from me and instantly deletes the message.
Amid all the drama, an old video just resurfaced of a popular makeup artist claiming they saw Austin in Miami with a bunch of women, while he was still very much with Catherine.
Yikes.
The receipts just keep piling up.
Given all this crazy amount of success, I can't live with knowing that this type of person who's doing these things to people is just like winning at life, literally having